it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Thanks for tuning in. On this episode, I've got Banziduck. He is in his Centurian 7.1 British Tier 9 medium tank, loaded into Fisherman's Bay. Mid-tier and a 3.5.7 spawned into the south. You can see that he's headed up to the middle. He sent me this video, this replay, asking for replay analysis and talking about the new maps. Now, I've showed this map a couple times, and it's got a really overpowered kind of spot. In fact, both sides have this same basic spot right here where you can get up in this long line of bushes and just absolutely punish guys who are trying to get down into the city. The only counter to it from either side is to send somebody up and spot your own fellers, like this 5100 is sort of attempting to do. But I don't know if he went AFK here or not, because we're going to get a bunch of shots on him as he just sits there. Bonzi comes in there. Bonzi's got a technique where he takes quite a few shots, not really zoomed in. I think that first shot simply just went into the building right there. Now, there are some goofy things about replays where sometimes you don't get a highlight, so I'm not sure if he actually had him highlighted on that first shot. He's carrying 2 large kits and some food. This tank's not really known for lighting on fire, so it's not a bad idea. He's going to bounce a shot here. He gets the one that pinned, one that bounces. He's going to shift, or maybe 2 that bounce. He's going to shift just a little bit, comes back to third person, which is something he does quite a bit. Then zooms in. Another option is maybe to go ahead and look up at the back of the turret right there. It's a smaller target, but more lightly armored. So let's talk about the positioning here. They've already got kind of an advantage on the map. Position-wise, this is a bit of an issue down here, but the north will push down on the west side quite a bit and quite often, much more often than the south will push up underneath the north. It's just a stronger position to get down into here than it is to get up into here, and they can get there faster. Tortoise is sort of wandering into the city. This spot where they were all clustered up here is why it's so dangerous now to go into the city, especially if you cut it close. You've got to take the long route, and people aren't used to that yet. You used to be able to just kind of cut straight across here, and there was a little bit of danger from somebody coming here, but if they did so, they really exposed themselves. Well, now you've got 2 long line of bushes on each side. I've seen a 110E5 get completely destroyed right here, and he wasn't even really... Look how far down they have to go in the south, right? Even if he goes over the road, he's still spotted. That's how ridiculous this map design is right here. I mean, they really just failed. But anyway, let's talk about how Bonzi is playing. It's got a tortoise, and you can see that once you pull back, what, 15 meters from the trees right there, you can shoot all day long, and that poor tortoise is never going to see the people that are victimizing him. The 4202 might be actually a little too close right there, but he doesn't seem to be taking fire as far as I can tell. There's a shot. So Bonzi's going for that weak spot on that top turret. Maybe that 4202 is double bushed right there from the other side's bushes. That's possible as well. Just more ridiculousness. But as far as map control goes, you can see that Bonzi's team is really taking the east side. And this is a problem with the way this map is designed. You are very disincentivized to go to the city from the north spawn, and really to some extent from the south spawn. Just depends on who gets up here with the most tanks. The other team didn't see anybody other than the 5100 that we saw, and 3 mediums just absolutely controlled the east side of the map with the heavies pushing into the town, and they basically own it. And this is a really good situation for his team. They've got 3 of them down, but look at the map control. When the north spawn pushes into here, if they don't do anything with it, which is very difficult now to do, then they don't really own this side of the map. They're just sort of jammed up in this corner, and you can see that 2/3, soon to be about 3/4 of the map is going to be owned by Bonzi's team. One of the reasons these guys can't push anymore is they very, I don't want to use the word, but they're, I can't remember what it is. There's a bunker. I don't know if it's here or a little bit further back. There's a bunker where you can actually sit and look through the view slit and shoot. It defies imagination, but TDs or stronghold tanks get in there and you just really have a hard time pushing it. Plus a bunch of TDs sitting in the back. Now, one thing, Bonzi, you're going to do here a bit is you kind of follow these other 2 mediums around, and you tend to jam up into where he is. Also, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Guys poking up and down, and there's shots you just missed right here for quite a while. He's been poking up and down. You're not really investigating it. Now you're jamming up in where the object 140 is, kind of getting in his way. Just be careful about when you're working with a wolf pack that you're not also getting in his way. And I think he gets a little irritated with you here. Because he's just basically kind of pushing into you. You're bumping him. There's another shot he just took, so you've left a couple shots on the table. Now it looks like he's just backing down to try to get you out of his way. So you're going to shift over here, and I don't think this is a bad idea. It looks like the east push is kind of out of ideas because you've got some low view range type of tanks over there, and they're going to have a hard time moving into that open northern area, pushing onto the enemy's spawn right there. Here's another opportunity for a shot that you missed. I took a look at it, and you could get a highlight. I'm not really sure if you're trying to what you're trying to do right there. He dies. So we've left a couple shots on the table. Maybe one of them hits and pens. And this is something as you start to get better in the game, and really for everybody, you'll notice that you start living a little longer. You're able to reposition a little more, react to the fight, get a little bit more damage. The whole question always becomes, what do you do with all that? What do you do with that extra damage? And more importantly, what do you do with the extra time? And what happens initially is a lot of people will wander around the map a bit more, which is something that I did when I started trying to figure out what to do with the extra time. And you think, well, I need to reposition, go where the damage is, kind of figure this thing out. And a lot of times it's a lot of back and forth. And this is a good example here. You sort of come over here. It wasn't a bad idea. Let's go see if we can get a shot on this JPZ. But you take a few pokes there. You can't get your shot down on his top of his tank like I think you were trying to do there, and you just stayed long enough for their artillery. They do have two, and they've also got that 155-58. And that would have been a big bummer had one of them tracked you, and then that 155-58 fix your track, and he starts working you over, tracks you. Next thing you know, you're eating a bunch of artillery damage and stun. So you get out of there wisely. We come over here. There was actually a shot there as well I took a look at. And you're kind of sitting out in the open here, and then you drive out further into the open. Is it likely you're going to be spotted from there? I don't think so, but you do have some mediums, and they could have moved up a little bit further onto this ramp and started poking over, taking a look. So I think that was a bit dangerous because look how far you have to back off before you start to protect yourself from the hill. That being said, this line of bushes right here is a fantastic line of bushes to sit in if that's what you're going to do. And this becomes very interesting to me because you've got a TVP, a 140, a 4202, and you, all mediums, just kind of hanging out back here waiting for somebody to give you someone to snipe at. And there comes a time in your medium life when you've got to be that guy. Looks like the TVP is eating a couple shots. WZ gets lit. Down he goes, so he unwisely did something that got him lit. Whether it was shoot from the bush and get lit by the low, or maybe even the 140 saw him. Probably the low, since the low just died. So the low gets nuked. JPZ gets the WT, and then the 55-58 takes down the JPZ. And so now that's good because it looks like just about everything that was over here is dead. You know, of course, the medium's wandering around. You've got some TDs hanging out, some more heavies. But holy cow, a lot of their tanks are in this corner. So the question now becomes, what do you do with your medium? Two answers. One is to come back around this way and try to push up through here. You don't have a whole lot of support because once you get in this pit, it's really only the object and the ISU, and that's even if they get up into position to take those shots. But you can approach by getting into this low depression, hugging this wall and coming in. It is dangerous. They will have some shots on you right here, and there's a lot of tanks left plus 2 arty. But that's one option. The other one is to come up over here onto the northeast side and try to push up. There's some bushes along here that you can get a little bit close, and at least it'll be even closer than where you are right here. Distance-wise, you may start picking up some of the guys moving around on the ridge right there. You don't want to go blitzing through the middle. The other one is to go out and kind of hang out in the middle here. What I don't like about this is you're just letting other people do it. And to be quite honest, you're kind of at that skill range where this is what a lot of people do. They're not exactly sure how to push in and get the lights, or they feel like their tank's not the right tank. Good news is you get this 263 lit, and he's in big old trouble. That shot goes into the ground. You had a little bit of ground right there below his hole. There's a little bit of a depression he was sitting in. He's just getting absolutely massacred. And the Emil's sitting right there. This was an interesting decision for me as well. I talked about it a little bit earlier. When you go jamming into where other people are, one option you had, I don't know if that's a destructible building. I was going to say shoot it and see if you could knock the building down and then get your shots, but quite honestly, I'm not sure. That's a new building as far as I'm concerned. Looks like you're trying to not hit your buddy, and that I do appreciate. Down he goes. And now we're kind of up where the other mediums are. The TVP's going, the 140's going, and now you're looking for shots, and this is a good thing. So we take a shot on him. Looks like you're seen. You pull back, fix your gun. That's a nice job. I'd be pulling out right now. They are busy, man. Those guys are so busy being shot. Look how they're getting pushed from every direction. It's maybe 2 or 3 of them are looking at you to shoot. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. They're taking hits from everywhere. They're backing up. I'd have already been out looking for my shot. That's just a little bit of an aggression thing right there and reading what's happening in the battle. They're being completely pressed. The game is really over. So just get yourself out there, use some of your hit points, and so what if you took a hit or two? You probably would have taken another shot in there. So really, by my count, here's another one you missed. That Sturv was actually shootable. Could have even just shot on the way in. Is it likely to hit? Not very. Could it? Yeah, absolutely. These are all those shots on the table kind of things. So you're sitting at 18, you could easily be about 25, maybe more. See how the 140 and the VTU are already eating up hit points because they were a little bit more aggressive pushing in. Now the Sturv and the 34 are the last guys. By the time you get up here, that's all there is. We're going to come up top, and you see the arty, so fantastic. Get those hit points. And then the first thing you do is back up. Man, I'd have just kept going. Move on in there. Nobody's going to shoot you right there. And again, even if at this point the 34 did come up, who cares? You've got 1,600 hit points. Once he shoots, you're free to push in and get your shot. Just a bit timid right there. And we end up with 2,600. So a very workmanlike 2,600, 1,800 spotting. Pretty good job initially on your initial position. I mean, you really can't beat that spot with a medium that can get there and an accurate gun and start punishing people down there. You get rid of that 5,100 who seem to go AFK. You started looking for more shots, and that's exactly what you should be doing as far as positioning, but I think you need to pay a little more attention to guys that get lit and investigating and seeing if you have a shot right there. A couple times you were going to the right spot, but you just sort of misplayed how you position yourself as far as a micro position within it, kind of sitting there begging the artillery to hit you while you're messing around with a JPZ. You didn't really want to push in on the JPZ because you'd exposed your side to all the snipers they had sitting up there in the Alpha Bravo 1 and 2 area there, so that was wise, but you just waited too long, lit, and the arty's going to come find you and take those easy shots on you. Swinging back the other way, be careful about jamming in where a lot of other people are. Look for a different angle, I guess is what I'm trying to say there, instead of bumping into guys. And then end game, just a little more aggression, and you could have easily had a 3,000 or more hit point game on this one. But overall, man, nice job. That's a win. 2 kills, 2,600 damage, 240 blocked, and 1,800 spotted. All right, guys, hope you learned something. I hope you liked what you saw. And if you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you.